Welcome to Amazing Authorities with Mitch Carson. Head to mitchcarson.com to learn more about what Mitch can do for you. Mitch brings you the leaders in their field. Today's difference makers. It's Amazing Authorities with Mitch Carson.
Francois, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
We're going to learn a lot about PhotonFi. Thank you for explaining that to me today. Tell me, how did you start this? What got you into this business?
I've been in the tech industry for a long time. I don't dare to say how long, but okay, long.
Yeah, I'm a month older than you, don't forget it.
Sure. I, for a while, invested in young technology companies, including in cybersecurity. And an interesting event happened once. One of the companies that I invested in invited me to a customer meeting one day. Okay, unusual. I accepted and went, and here we are. We found ourselves in a bank, a bank that you know. I'm not going to disclose the name.
Okay, you don't want them to send people after you.
Exactly. And it was a product that the bank wanted to deploy on a small scale to test the security and actually strengthen the security of their company. And they thanked the CEO of the startup I invested in by, hey, thank you for bringing this prototype. We're excited to test it, and we're glad that you received our specifications to be able to develop this prototype. And the CEO answered, we never got your specifications. And the bank representative said, then how did you develop this prototype? Said, we asked, you didn't give. We asked, you didn't give, and you didn't want to delay the tests. So our head engineers drove his car into your parking lot, tapped into your Wi-Fi, and we just got into your network.
Oh my God.
And found the entire topology of your network.
Wow.
You imagine?
You cracked the code, so to speak.
Yeah.
The embarrassment.
And the embarrassment and everything. So fast forward to several years later, and I came across this technology that makes Wi-Fi, or wireless in general, completely unbreakable. I said, aha, that's what we needed to have in the industry. Because if, a good guy with good intention alone can break into a bank through their Wi-Fi, imagine the bad guys.
Oh my gosh, this is like NSA level stuff.
It was bad. It was definitely bad, and I found this technology, and after running some due diligence, I said, okay, let's go. The industry needs that. The world needs that.
Wow, so that's what it started. How long have you been in business now with this technology?
With this technology has been around for a few years.
Okay.
So we got the license for the markets that we're targeting, mostly in the Americas, and we've been in business for 1 year, and it's taking off. It's really taking off.
So what clients do you serve?
So any business that has very strong requirements about their security.
Okay, so sensitive information.
Think banks, think medical
That's
companies, the whole medical sector.
The White House?
Well, let me put it that way. We didn't go after, how should I say that, the government markets.
Okay.
But somehow, the 3-letter, the 4-letter agencies found us. That's their job, right?
Got it.
And we have very good contacts in that part of the industry as well.
Wow, that's great. And so what are the big benefits that, let's talk about the small business market. Let's say under $100 million in revenue. What can you do for them?
Well, think about it this way. The cost of a breach is very high. So we're actually saving a lot of companies money because we are basically sealing one of the back doors that were unchecked, their Wi-Fi. So what we do for them is offer a security that they didn't have before and save them the cost of repairing the damages done. So think of a defense contractor, think of a law firm that serves banks and other financial institutions. We're really bringing them a level of comfort and security that allows them to do business with peace of mind.
Well, I was thinking law firms. When you mentioned it, and then you mentioned, I was thinking, wow, that would be a very big sector that you could serve, would be, law firms around the country.
Definitely.
Especially with sensitive information. I'm not talking necessarily just the fender bender, PI cases, personal injury cases, but there's a whole privacy issue there. CPA firms.
CPA firms who have customers whose data need to be safeguarded. So, you touched on it. It's not for everybody. Not everybody needs that. You won't necessarily see that in your local coffee shop anytime soon. Not to mention a brand, but I'm sure you have your preferred brand in mind. But
it's not the one with the S.
but many companies really have strong requirements and we mentioned those sectors in defense, in finance and other places.
No, I mean those are the obvious ones. Now tell me about the reduced energy footprint. Tell me that's a very heavily trafficked search term these days.
Well, listen. I'm surprised, but pleasantly surprised that you know about it. So, yes, this is true. Our technology, PhotonFi solution, just consumes less energy, about 25 to 30% less than Wi-Fi. And any saving is welcome nowadays with the price of energies, that are going high. And that's important. Now, you talked about small business. Think of a large company. Saving even, 2% of their energy cost is significant.
Absolutely.
Moves the needle.
So is it about a 2% savings?
Well, it depends. It depends on how much wireless they use.
Okay. Well, that is a factor. I mean, people have to consider these things. And the speed. Talk about the speed.
The speed is a very interesting concept. If you look at Wi-Fi again, the claim for speed is really high. I can do 600 megabits per second, and I can do this, and I can do that. Here's a problem. That's a lab test. All right. Go into an office building with a lot of businesses. Go into hospitality. Here. In Las Vegas, lots of convention. Go to a convention. You never get that kind of speed. Why? Because all the signals, all the users interfere. Their signals interfere with one another.
Isn't it?
Yes. So the bandwidth basically drops down for each user. Why? Because of the interference. Enters PhotonFi. We don't use radio waves. We don't use the radio waves that everybody used. You on your phone, me on my phone.
Right.
And as a result, nobody interferes with us. We don't interfere with anybody else. So our technology is specified for 250 megabits per second. But we deliver 250 megabits per second always, whatever happens.
So bandwidth is not
an issue.
Wow, I would think conventions, conferences, even airports would benefit from this because they're the big users of it, and it's depending on which airport you're in, it's a bandwidth issue. So this would be great for that.
It is great for that. Think of other uses. A command center. The hub of all signals that come in and come out because you're controlling, say, satellites.
Oh. Call Elon.
Okay. Would you imagine, you said, well, you know what? My bandwidth went down. I'm not able anymore to control this satellite. Not cool. Not cool. So we guarantee that bandwidth, whatever happens. And that's very crucial as well. So good speed, always.
Tell us about Li-Fi. That's a term that got me excited.
You know Wi-Fi, right?
Wi-Fi, but what's Li-Fi? Is that mistruth?
No.
Okay.
So
Li-Fi.
Li-Fi,
It was like that,
Li-Fi,
Joe.
no,
Yeah.
absolutely. So everybody knows Wi-Fi. Well, Li-Fi replaced radio waves with light, invisible lights.
Oh.
And that's where the name of our company comes from. Photons. There are photons in light. And because we use photons, we don't interfere. We're immune to interference also. So that means that we're completely protected from anything that goes on in communication with invisible light.
Where will your company be realistically and dream state in a year from now? I don't like to go beyond that because technology changes so quickly. Let's just go about a year. Where will PhotonFi exist?
Well, let me start with the dream.
Okay,
The
all right,
aspiration.
okay, good. We'll work backwards. Okay.
Exactly. Well, everywhere, right?
Okay.
So now, realistically, right now, our biggest problem is manufacturing capacity. We cannot respond to demand fast enough.
That's a terrible problem to have.
No, actually, it's a good one to have.
I'm kidding. You have a backlog of orders. Wow.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so basically our biggest endeavor right now as a company is to find components, find manufacturing capacity to be able to respond to demand. It is to a point, not to get too much into the weeds, that I had to ask our commercial teams, guys, slow down. Slow down.
Selling?
Stop selling.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Tell Usain Bolt to slow down. Yeah. Wow. Wow. So you just have to wait for supply to meet up with the orders that you've taken.
Absolutely.
How are you going to address that issue? It's kind of like the issue with batteries for electric vehicles.
Yes. Luckily not that dramatic because our engineers are clever people, so
Sure.
they've designed our products based on off-the-shelf components. The magic is actually in how we combine them and the software that sits on top of it. So it's finding the supplies. We are looking very seriously at additional manufacturing capacity. Hush, hush, don't repeat it to anybody. We're looking right here in the Las Vegas Valley and see if we can ramp up our capabilities here.
And what are you looking for specifically? Can you disclose that, or would you have to kill me?
Yeah, both.
Okay.
But I will no. Seriously. So we'll do it step by step.
Okay.
So we're thinking initially of bringing sub-assemblies and finish the assembly here. If we did that already there, we would be able to ramp up our output capabilities.
That's great. And so that was the dream. What is the reality of where are you going to go within a year? You say you have a dream of everywhere.
Everywhere.
Okay, so let's go back to realistic, because I'm interested. I would love to be able to help see this reality come to fruition. I mean, it's a capacity issue right now, or a supply chain issue, sounds like.
Definitely. So, and training also. Let's not forget training, because when it's brand new like this, everybody has to understand what it does for them, where to use it, where not to use it. So there's a little bit of that going on as well. Realistically, so there are a number of interested parties that we're going to serve, and no surprise, it's going to be a few financial institutions, it's going to be defense contractors, and a sector that is very near and dear my heart, esports.
Oh.
Esports. So we talked about stability, we talked about security. What does this have to do with esports? Well, one of the properties of light is that it's fast. Think of an esport athlete. It's not different from driving a car. If you turn your wheel and it takes the car half a second to respond to the driver's comment, you can't go very fast. Same problem in esports. When an athlete, makes a move, the game has to respond very quickly. And with our system, they can. and we have
That's a huge sector.
huge sector, very
and
growing very fast, and we're addressing this. And I'm very pleased to say and observe that esports meets education. A lot of
education.
College and universities are building, training centers. They have courses starting, and we will be able to equip some of these education institutions with our technology, and that is very interesting too.
Wow. Well, that's amazing. So, within the esports category, these are gamers, people that are gamers, essentially.
Yes.
Okay. How does you may not like this question, but I got to ask it for the viewers. How does your pricing compare to competition? You don't sound like you really have competition, but let's say the other means of this. Is it competitive? Is it less? Is it more?
Well, I'm going to give you a long answer.
That's
so
fine.
It's a new technology. Like any new technology, the cost of purchasing the particular gear is a little higher.
Okay.
Well, actually, it's significantly higher. Let's face
Got
it. But there's another part to my answer.
Sure.
Let's talk about total cost of ownership.
That's what I really wanted to go to.
If you start spending less on cybersecurity, you start saving. But very importantly too, people who cannot afford the weaknesses of wireless as it exists today have to wire up everything. So cost of labor, cost of purchasing copper, cost of maintaining every time you need to move a computer from here to there, bring the technicians, move everything. We save all of that cost. So if you project, and we have rolled out our technology in an airline that I cannot name, unfortunately, right now.
Right.
They have told us and calculated that they're saving 20 minutes per employee per day in their maintenance center.
So that's huge.
That's huge, meaning that the payback time of the premium they paid for us is within weeks.
Wow. Well, there's always an old adage I heard from a motivational speaker named Zig Ziglar. He talked about a Huffy bike versus a Schwinn. And you are offering in the marketplace a Schwinn, a quality piece that is, the cost versus the price. The price is higher, but the cost, just like you said, pays back much faster. And there's something called restful sleep. Knowing that you can't penetrate the security is worth how much? How do you factor that price? And that's immeasurable. So the real return on investment, you said, is weeks and peace of mind. And that's where people can sleep soundly.
Absolutely.
So that's a real big takeaway. Learning about this is people can sleep, not be up at night worried, oh, am I getting hacked? Am I exposed? Am I going to get sued by my clients? All of these things. And within a short period of time, they're getting payback.
Terrific.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Huge benefit. Yeah, so that's, what would be the next product level that you would come up with after this? I'm sure you're thinking. You're an entrepreneur, you're thinking about the next. What would be the natural sequence?
Well, think about it this way. All these wireless technologies are excellent, but the level of integration is important. We like, small devices. And really, our thought process is about integration. And people are already working on this. And imagine you have that technology in your phone. That would be cool. In your game console. That would be cool. So this is, it's not an announcement. Don't take it as an announcement.
It's not a press release.
But think of aspirational plans of working on these kind of things. There are the little secrets that we're working on. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Wow. Well, Francois, this has been enlightening because we have covered so much. I mean, I've read up about your company before you came here. I knew next to nothing about it except as a consumer, a regular guy, non-tech person, understanding that now this can be inside airports. We don't have the risk of bandwidth failure. or dropping, being on an important call. At some point, we're going to see this, so there will be bandwidth unlimited amounts. Is that correct? In some of these public places, as well as the private, plus the security?
Over time.
Over time.
In the beginning, it will be really reserved for the professional application, so it be transparent. No pun intended to the consumer.
Okay.
But the peace of mind of knowing that the engine that is running behind all of this is powered.
And it's not crackable.
And it's not crackable.
Oh my gosh, that's right there. That's just a huge, who cares about what it costs? I mean, who cares what the price is? What it costs is by far less. That's what I'm hearing, is it costs less within a short period of time. It's not
Correct.
even years.
Correct.
It's weeks, as you mentioned.
Absolutely. Can I quote you when I'm in front of a customer? I love
Sure.
that
Well,
line.
there's one thing of price versus cost.
Absolutely.
And peace of mind. So I'm looking at that as the trifecta.
Yeah.
You know, is you're pulling away, not only is it faster, you're going to have the ROI quicker. The price may be higher initially, but its payback is very quick and you're saving on the employee time. We just need to get ramped up, but you're sleeping at night. How valuable is sleep and stress? It'll minimize hair loss. It'll minimize an upset stomach. There are real physical benefits of having a stress-free life. And that's what you provide, is a stress-free outcome.
Absolutely.
That's reduce the stress. So the emotional side of this, the real takeaway, other than the hard facts, is we're faster, the stress.
The stress. So
The stress. Do you like stress? No, I don't. Nobody likes stress because that requires Pepto-Bismol. And we don't want to use Pepto-Bismol. And this is I look at that as a consumer, and I'm right there thinking the real benefit is stress goes away. Sleep full nights, not sleep less nights. And as a cybersecurity expert or an executive that's overseeing this, that's what I'm seeing is the real benefit, and consistent delivery.
correct. We have very eye-opening dialogues with the chief information and security officers in companies, and obviously everything around cybersecurity is top of mind for them.
100%.
And therefore we have a very good dialogue and constructive dialogue with this category of job functions within a company.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Russians and North Korea are going to be contacting you like next week. You want to say, find out?
I will not take the call. How about that?
Oh my gosh. Well, so the sectors, just so people understand, your hottest sectors that you're serving, let's recap those. Who is it that is primary? Let's say, because let's list them 1 through 3. Because
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
All right. Financial sector,
Okay.
esports.
Banks. Banks.
Yeah, financial sector,
Okay.
including banks, and defense contractors
And esports.
that I mentioned as.
Yeah. I mean, you say that very passionately. I guess you're an esports participant yourself. Do you play that?
I play games, and,
Okay.
and also I've been close to the gaming industry for a while, the video game industry for a while, and it's good to see that we can bring technology to what is becoming the first form of entertainment among the younger generations.
Okay. So banking, esports, and
Defense contractors.
defense contractors. But I also think number 4 would be legal law firms at some point. Would that be a close fourth or distant?
It is a close fourth. When we have a dialogue with the law firms, they would like it particularly for those attorneys that deal with the sensitive cases or
Sure.
the sensitive clients. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
yes.
medical is an obvious one with all the HIPAA restrictions that are out there and patient privacy. I think that's big. So,
That is, yes.
so how do people get in touch with you? What's the best way?
Well, email. We
Okay.
like emails. And simply email at info@photonfi.net.
So why don't we spell that?
Yeah, so info
Right.
at PHOTONFI HOTONFI.net.
.net. Okay. Now, are you on social media? Is there where they can read about you?
Well, yes, we have a LinkedIn page.
Okay.
So,
company page?
a company page, our website,
Okay.
obviously, and there's a contact us link over there as well. So these are our favorite ways of being contacted.
So it's not personal phone number to call you and bother you at all hours of the night?
Organize another interview and I will share with you our newest and greatest phone number.
Okay, all right. So they email you and then they would set up a call, maybe a Zoom interview, and that way you can find out the client's needs and then see if your solution is what they're looking for or what they need.
Perfectly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Perfectly.
Okay. Well, Francois, thank you for coming and guesting on my show, Amazing Authorities, and you're certainly an amazing authority. And I don't know how to say thank you in French, but that.
Merci beaucoup, Mitch.
Merci beaucoup, Francois.
Let Mitch Carson help you. Mitch's background includes starting his first business in college and selling it for more than 7 figures by the age of 28. His second startup with partners, Planet Recycling Incorporated, was sold in 1993 to Waste Management. Mitch has trained over 600 speakers, authors, coaches, consultants, CEOs, and helped them reach their goals. Many have gone on to be New York Times best-selling authors, Wall Street Journal authors. Many have been able to experience a life transformation, as few are able to see, experience, and realize their personal power. Many have gone on to become keynote speakers in their native countries, become authors, and recognized experts. Let Mitch help you reach your goals. Head to MitchCarson.com or scan the QR code now to learn more.